Hello, everybody. Sorry for not being with you. It's simply because I got nervous about our budget and the remaining euro cents in our pockets at the end of the year. And our managers were looking hard at me and do you really need to go, all of you, to Warsaw? And no, I decided to stay. And in the meantime, I got involved in some high-level core facility strategy meeting here at TTU Lyngby. So I'm not there because of money, and I'm here in Denmark to make money, and it's going okay. But I'm missing you. Sure, I am. I'm here to give the last talk on Work Package 9, what we have learned from transport and logistics. First of all, at the end of all this, I have to thank everybody who has been part of that. It's simply not my work. It's something done by the team, not only the Work Package 9, surely not, but by all the transporters in the facilities. And without Charlotte keeping track of the projects and the radioactivity actually being delivered to the projects, it would have been impossible to understand if things had happened and how they have happened and whatever. And finally, thanks to my local radiation safety staff at Hevesy, they turned out in the end to become transportation experts, which is not a bad thing, but it certainly takes a long time. And now I should be able to click to the next slide. I hope you see the next slide now.
Yes, you.
Good, okay. At this time, we have done all the transports, I believe. I'm told, I can see in the spreadsheets, there was a few days ago one pending, but I think it's gone, it's done now. What is waiting is we have to have some of the users still to pay the transport costs, which is not a small issue. After that, I will collect some final feedback from those who have shipped and those who have perhaps had problems receiving. There's no official paperwork we have to deliver, and that feels nice. On the other hand, I think we have some experiences that must be carried over to PRISMAP Plus somehow. And I will discuss with a few of you how we can do that. Should we extend the handbook, or should we, and we should, of course, hand over the transportation statistics. In the beginning, this didn't look very impressive, but this looks impressive now. This is simply the increase of shipments done to end users. It does not include the interfacility shipments, things going from a reactor to a radiochemistry lab for processing, labeling, whatever. It's simply the end user shipments. And we are now, you can see how we changed gear at the end of call 1, call 2, and decided we better get the show running. And now we have done 104 transports. And this is more or less concluding what we promised to do. We have additional deliveries, as I said, the interfacility, but also things for calibration and intercomparison. What have we learned? Well, the transnational charter we were given from the needs transport. I mean, we cannot reach the user without transnational operation, meaning transport is necessary. Often several transports because we have to go to chemical processing in between. I don't know why, but all our calls have focused on radionuclides with sufficiently long half-life not to make it too bad.
No, ma io posso stare qua, ci stiamo tutti e tre.
It sounds like there's a fight going on.
Sorry, yeah.
No, but nobody's hurt, I hope. We were not forced with short half-lives, which is good. That would have been difficult. We have not seen many things running in the combined facilities, which would have saved some transport. Work Package 2, Work Package 3 facilities, and I'm using my own facility as an example. We did Silver 111 imaging at DTU a month ago or something like that, where the silver was, of course, made in ILL, but transported to Denmark, and the rest happened more or less within the same building. It didn't happen without transport costs, and it could not have happened if PRISMAP had not exceptionally supported the travel for the two Italians doing the study. As I've said before, the Work Package 2 facilities really have transport systems in place. We did not have to invent them, but we could use them. Otherwise, we would not have survived. And it was road and air transport, whatever. But of course, the normal passenger traffic airplanes being used most often. And the delays, especially in the beginning, were frequent. Few hours or next flight, depending. But as we get closer, as we learn by experience, the delays get fewer. We have not had many complete failures, and I'm trying to reconstruct what they were caused by, but there were not many. One thing which I think is very important here to point out, that it takes a lot of effort, resources, manpower to prepare a transport. It was not foreseen in our budgets, and we just have to remember in PRISMAP Plus that there should be room for that also. The users also see it as expensive, but we only saw one single project bailing out because they figured out they could not cover the transport costs. So when I say expensive, perhaps it's not too expensive, but at least it is a lot of money using for handling agents, air and road charges and whatever. This is my short list of what has to be done in preparation to ship to a customer which you may, or user which you may not know, far away and whatever. First of all, it's surprisingly difficult to get people prepared to receive what you want to make. There are schedules which should fit together. And then there are some animal models, some cells, whatever, which has to grow, and the staff should be there. We lately had manganese 52 distributed from the same batch to 3 different users, and that was really European exercise in collaboration. But in the end, we did it. Yes, we have to determine, shall we ship in what type of lead and whatever. It's important when you order the transport, you have to inform the companies what's going to be transported. It is our duty to check the user license and all of that. And finally, on the very day, we have to get the transport case, the transport box, the transport paper work, and whatever cardboard box ready. Yes, if we had to do it for shorter half-lives, it will be demanding. And I foresee that if we have to do it for clinical trials in the future, simply the numbers and the punctuality will also be demanding. Of course, we have to escalate on activity, but it's worth considering that clinical trials will be even more difficult. We also see, and that's not completely trivial, when you trace the same trail, you get a higher success rate. It seems like the system remembers you. So a given handler in an airport remembers, oh, this box like this have to go to this user. It simply increases the success rate. And I know the user selection panel has looked at it, but it's very important to optimize in the user selection step that you think about transport and logistics to get the cost and resource use down. I have learned, and I would like to share a few of my own observations. If you can avoid reloading at an airport hub, it's good. If I hear the word Frankfurt, I say, no, I will not do it, not Frankfurt. In the end, we did a few transports from Denmark to elsewhere in Europe through Frankfurt, but there's a good chance it will be delayed or lost or whatever. And especially the first time you come with a new radionuclide, you have a high chance of delay. The handover from one cargo agent to another one is also subject to substantial delays we can see in the statistics. And lately, we simply had a package being lost in a warehouse in a country in which you are. And that was a little bit scary. Happily, it was manganese 52 with a half-life, which can survive being lost for some hours in a warehouse. But this is really the scares you are in for. We would like to offer door-to-door services because the users, and especially new users who are not trained or accustomed to have all sorts of activity coming every day, they want door-to-door service. But it's much more easy for us as senders or shippers if we can hand over to a transport agent in the receiving airport. So the user takes the responsibility for the final stress. A word about the transport containers. This I've said before, we are transporting as type A, and we want to stay with type A as long as we can. There is some IAEA changes to transport rules that could put a little bit of what we could send in. We should consider if we can, how much we can send in type A packages, but most things can continue that way. If the package is heavy enough, has the size and whatever. For that reason, we decided in the middle of PRISMAP, we better make our own disposable type A package, not only for PRISMAP, but it was a good idea to have something we need not have come back again. So we went through the entire process of constructing a suitable cardboard package and testing it in all sorts of ways. And this is just a small array of the tests you have to do. And happily, we have a big site with a lot of infrastructure that can do that. And in the end, we came up with a qualified type A package. It's more heavy and bigger than the commercial small boxes because we want to make sure that we can carry even things which penetrate lead a bit, like manganese 52, zirconium 89 in this package. So we got it certified. I showed this at the last meeting. The IAEA is reconsidering the so-called A1 and A2 limits, which for some very special alpha emitters and especially nondescript or generic alpha emitters would strain our capability of sending in a type A package. we would then have to use Type B containers, and we don't want to do that. But this is already raised at several levels against IAEA. On the other hand, there's not much you can do to change these decisions because it's made based on some overarching principles. But at least it's something we have to look at a little bit careful when planning PRISMAP Plus. Okay, in the end, Work Package 9 is some kind of paper tiger. We don't do the transports. We analyze the transport. We try to identify the obstacles, but we don't move the mountains. There are other people doing that. And lately, the ERVI group, which you've heard about, and the EU as a whole is working on simplifying or helping or whatever transport of radioactive material for medical use, but results will come slowly. Industry, I had a contact by IBA. They are very interested in our experience and they have similar experience. The thing with industry is that they normally will trail or blaze the trail and have repeated transports. So they have the benefit of scale, but still they see the delays and whatever. And finally, there's a mechanism now in place where both the IAEA and many of the national authorities want to collect stories of denied and delayed boarding. What they do with these records, I don't know, but I have sent in a few and I haven't heard anything. We cannot go to IAEA or anybody else for that say PRISMAP is a good reason to change the safety codes. We have to apply the general safety codes, of course. Yes. I wished we had been allowed to transport PRISMAP nuclides to the same nation. That would Denmark to Denmark and whatever, that would have made it a lot cheaper and whatever. But this is what it is. Yes, we decided not to have a Work Package 9 or transport in PRISMAP Plus. Yes, we don't need it because we don't gain anything more, I think. But I will do my best to carry the information over to the organization taking care of PRISMAP Plus. And I think that is what I wanted to say. Yes, it is not trivial. It is almost research. So thank you for your attention.